No, there we go. I'm still muted. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this AFC South show on Curtis's Podcast Network. I'm the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown, and with me, as always, my resident Jaguars fan, Isaiah Michelli, a.k.a. Duval's finest, a.k.a. the Glitter Kitty Conquistador, a.k.a. the source of your mother's wet dreams. Isaiah, how are we doing?
I love when Jeff's not here because I get that one too. Pretty good. Found out I am getting a little bit of a permanent stay in my position I've been in for the past 6 months at work. So that comes with more money and more fun. So excited about that. Jaguar land, not too much going on. Finished some interviews. Finished an interview with Liam Cohen at midnight. Don't know what that's all about. They must have been having a sleepover on the yacht or something. But yeah, that's cool. But yeah, just not too much going on.
You think if you work for the Jaguars, you get free AEW tickets? I would imagine.
Maybe. Honestly, I think me and Tony Khan will be boys, so probably. I'd be dapping up Tony Khan on the reg, like, oh, what's up, G? And then me and Tony would go like hang out, smoke a cigar, tell old washed up wrestlers to go put on a good show. And yeah, I think it'd be a good time.
Oh my
God. Down here at the bottom right, we got filling in for Jeff, a regular face here, Justin, aka Kingmaker Sports. You can find him across all the social medias at Kingmaker_DFF. Like, subscribe, notification bell on his YouTube channel. It's all about fantasy football, dynasties, everything you need to know.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the offseason, they're going to be doing a lot of deep dives into the rookies. So make sure you hit those. Like, subscribe.
Love those rookies. Love those rookies.
It's huge for Dynasty. It's huge.
Oh, this is Dynasty season, baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Down here at the bottom left, filling in for any Titans fan we've ever had, Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports, covering all of the NFL. He's been on this channel probably we're getting close to double digits at this point. It feels like that.
We're getting close. But as always, appreciate you having me on the show. It's good to be back.
Hell yeah. Well, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into it, gentlemen. The only real change as far as front office or coaching staff goes this week, the Titans have filled in the GM position with a former Kansas City Chiefs front office member, Mike Borzinga. And I don't really know a whole lot about him. It's kind of hard to figure out much about these guys other than like what stops they made along their career. But 16 years in Kansas City, helping to build 3 Super Bowl rosters. That's pretty solid as far as a resume goes. What can we actually expect out of this guy?
Yeah, welcome Mike Borgonzi to Nashville. He is your new general manager of the Tennessee Titans. And here's the thing about GM candidates. It's impossible to know if these guys are going to be good at their new jobs until they get in the chairs themselves. These guys aren't making trades. They're not making draft picks. There's always been somebody in the front office with the respective franchise that has been over them. So it's really impossible to know if someone like Borgonzi is going to be able to come in and do all that he wants to with this new franchise. But with that being said, if you look at his resume on paper, it's obviously pretty good. You look around at the different GM candidates searching for jobs. I think most people would name Mike Borgonzi as a favorite and someone who might have a bright future. But here's the other thing that we need to discuss real quickly. What exactly is the Titans GM job? I think that the Titans have made it clear on their official website just a couple weeks ago that Chad Brinker, the president of football operations, he has the final say with the organization. In other organizations, the general manager is the one who has the final say, who's breaking ties and arguments, who's making that draft selection at number 1 overall. So with Mike Borgonzi, what exactly is his role going to be in Tennessee? So I'm really excited for this press conference that'll be coming up next week, because the reporters will have the chance to ask him those questions. So, if the Titans to even take a step backwards and they're worse than the worst football team in football in 2025, are you going to blame Mike Borgonzi, or are you going to blame Chad Brinker? So I don't know how to feel about this. On paper, it seems like a pretty decent hire, but at the same time, does he really have the power that other GMs around the NFL do?
And that would be something that I would ask in the meeting. Like, what exactly are you expecting of me? Like, where does the line actually exist? Why? And another one would be like, why would anybody consider this position? Because you're basically kind of taking, it's a little bit of a forward movement, but it's still kind of a lateral move. You still have people to answer to. Are you really getting a shot to prove yourself at this point?
The NFL had to investigate the job duty, the job description, to make sure it wasn't a lateral move for an assistant GM that wanted to interview. Because if it wasn't technically a lateral move, then the other NFL franchise could block the potential interview. So the Titans had to explain themselves and say, no, this is a real gig. It's just kind of, embarrassing, I guess, is the right word. It talk about dysfunction. Just a very weird process that Tennessee went on. But you asked a great question, because I think if I was interviewing for the GM job, my first question would be, how flexible do I need to be? Because your job description for your general manager position has changed 4 times over the last 3 years. So is what you're telling me my duties are going to be in 2025, is that going to be true in 2026? I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of dysfunction going on in Nashville right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if that dysfunction is like a systemic issue from like all the way at the top with Miss Amy, or if, because realistically, it doesn't sound like she knows ball all that well. And if that's the case, then I would be hiring somebody. Like if I took over a Fortune 500 company for some reason and have no idea what the hell I'm doing, I'm hiring somebody who knows what the hell they're doing to help run this damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's
just smart business.
Yeah. I can't imagine that she knows all about it and is making the most informed decisions when she's making these decisions. But
yeah, there's a lot of things you could point to quickly, but one of them is like, I think they're obsessed with collaboration. They're trying to put these arranged marriages together and have a committee come to decisions. And you guys have been part of group projects in schools. There's always one guy who emerges as the leader, if you will, that has to break ties when it comes to making big decisions. And it's like we're ignoring that fact in itself. And again, we're having a GM that's coming in with a different president of football operations, with a head coach he's already been saddled with. If you wanted to make a change this offseason, you probably should have just cleaned house and started all over again with a new head coach, with the new general manager, new president of football operations. Instead, Rand Carthon's on his way out, and you have to deal with yet another arranged marriage. So next up is Brian Callahan getting fired next offseason, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that would be on the next slew of bingo cards, I guess. Gentlemen, do you guys have any thoughts about this Titans hire? I know it's kind of hard to have GM conversations, but
no, it's just he's been with one organization for such a long time, since 2009, been with the Chiefs, and the organization is the Chiefs organization. They haven't been run very badly, so I think he's being a product of, I don't want to say riding coattails, but I think he's a product of a successful organization. Maybe not him specifically, but because he's had a lot of different positions within the organization. A lot of them be scouting. He spent 5-6 years in the scouting arena, whether it be college or what have you. So I don't think he's going to do a bad job, but I don't think he's like they went out and said, this is the guy that we're going to go after. I think he's getting that Chiefs rub, just because, he was a part of 3 Super Bowls and this and that. I don't know. I feel like there's better candidates, but on paper, like we said, his resume looks good because he has the right boxes you want to check. Did he come from a winning organization? Boom. Does he have Super Bowls? He just has those things. Like he was a part of the Kelsey scouting. He was a part of the Mahomes scouting. But like you said, Jordan, like, was he those decision makers? No, like let's not fool ourselves here. He wasn't. But was he in the room for all those conversations? Yes. So to be able to hear, the people that do make those decisions and what they say and how they scout and how they make those determinations, I think that will help because he's going from a top tier organization to a bottom tier organization to where now he can come in and look like a star and say, oh, well, we did at the Chiefs, Now, hopefully he doesn't say that a lot because the owners aren't going to want to hear that. They're going to say, oh, well, this ain't the Chiefs, bro. You're out, kind of deal. Because it's like your new girlfriend talking about her ex-boyfriend. Like nobody wants to hear that, right? So they just need to. Hopefully he comes in and does good. I'm hoping for the Titans because I'd like to see them do well from where they're at, right? Because I want the AFC South as a whole to be competitive. So I'm hoping that he can come in and bring some of that Chiefs kind of football that they had there and bring it into the AFC South, especially with the Titans, and help them out.
Are we kind of witnessing the birth of a new Patriots way in Missouri?
I
Because
don't know, man.
I felt like for decades it seemed like all the front office people involved in and the coaches in New England constantly get money thrown at them to be a head coach or a GM somewhere else.
And they all stunk.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the most part, Nick Caserio's done pretty well in Houston, but
yeah,
I think he might be the only one. And you might be able to say even that Bill O'Brien was successful as a coach, but not a GM. You might be able to say that.
Well, are we trying to say that Mike Vrabel wasn't good?
Mike Vrabel, does he count though? Because he was just a player.
I wouldn't count him, but I understand why you would. He wasn't coaching in that building.
Right, but he was learning the whole time, though. That's why
Sure.
I count Mike Vrabel as part of the Belichick tree because of that reason. Yes, he didn't coach, I get it, but he was there learning, and from all accounts, like the dude was a leader in the locker room. So being a coach on the field, a coach player, like I mean, in my book, it's still Belichick coaching tree.
Yeah,
or tree at least the Belichick tree, coaching tree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Isaiah, do you have any Titans?
I mean, I hate the Titans. If I'm just being 100% honest, but I do want a competitive division. I don't want them to be competitive enough to be better than us again for a long time. So it all depends on how our new regime pans out, how well I want that one to work out. No, I do think it is very unfortunate though that like these guys keep on getting canned. Like I do understand canning the first guy. You get rid of your best wide receiver you've had in that franchise in years, and then for peanuts basically. And then you bring in Rand Carthen. Rand Carthen gets a bad stick on that side. Like are you the GM? And I know it was investigated, but like, are they going to get investigated again if he comes in and is like, oh, they didn't let me do shit. I wasn't really the GM. It's such a tough position to be in and understand how they're running that organization over there. And I do agree with Jordan that it's just like, is it going to change again next year? Are you going to have the same job year to year? I think that's a really valid question. For me though, it's just like, the big question is, how is he going to build the team? Is he going to go after a quarterback this year? Is he going to trade back and try and pick up linemen and then go for a quarterback next year? Does he think Will Levis is the guy? I mean, there's a lot of different moving parts, and that team needs a lot of talent to be injected into it. But also, too, like the last guy, are they going to get rid of guys, like Landry and Big Jeff and try and get rid of some cap and do some different things? I think it'll be interesting. I think he does come from a great organization. And like, everybody's mentioned, he's been in the organization of the scouting, everything. I don't think they'll have any issue drafting players. It's just going to come down to, does he get the freedom to actually come in and develop himself and develop the team? Or is he going to be taking a backseat to the other guy that's the shadow GM, like we've pointed out? It's going to be tough to say, but we'll see.
Fair enough. Well, gentlemen, let's get into the actual preview portion of the evening. We're going to start off. We're going to save the Texans-Chiefs game for last, even though it is the first game tomorrow.
Fuck it, Chiefs by 60.
Dang.
So Sunday night, we've got probably the best game of the weekend. Baltimore traveling to Buffalo, 5:30 kickoff. Baltimore's favored by 1. And the over-under is 51.5 at the last I checked. So How are we feeling about that game? Does anybody actually expect this game to not be the best game of the weekend?
I think it is going to be the best game of the weekend, but I don't have it that close, though. I have the Ravens like winning by 10 points.
Really?
I got the Ravens 31-21.
Damn.
They're firing on all cylinders right now, and Buffalo, man, all they have is Josh Allen.
They have heart.
Yeah.
Good sir.
I mean, you lock down Josh Allen, you make him use his arm, you win the game. Not to say he's not a bad not a bad passer. I'm not saying that, but the man kills you with his feet and opens up lanes, and you take that away, you beat the Bills.
Damn. Isaiah, how are you feeling about it?
What up, Eric? I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna go the other way though. I think the Bills are gonna win. Purely because I think that they want to further the Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes rigged rhetoric in the NFL that they've been trying to push for years. Yeah. The propaganda machine will continue to reign supreme in the NFL. I think that Josh Allen, they move it past this round. I've said it before. They take on the Chiefs in the conference. They beat them and keep them away from the three-peat just for Patrick Mahomes to come back with a vengeance and win 3 straight right after that. They got to pump up the propaganda machine. They got to get the money flowing. Honestly, though, I think it's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be 10 points. I think it's gonna be like I think it's like 38-42. Like I think it's gonna be a shootout. Something really close at the end there. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think that neither of them has as good of a defense as people would like people to believe. I mean, especially not the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen's just been outscoring everybody. Like the defense hasn't been doing a great job. I think if there was like a 3-week stretch at one point where they had like 82 points scored on them. Like, that's not a winning philosophy. But anything can happen in the playoffs. I think that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are a very good duo. I think they're going to try and take Derrick Henry away, though, and really send it after him and try and make Lamar beat him through the air. Same thing with the Josh Allen effect. But I think Josh Allen has the arm to take them past them. But I think it's going to be close. I think there's going to be a lot of points, though.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be the game of the week, but I'll go the opposite way, actually. I'll take the under in this matchup. I think that it's going to come down to which defense outperforms the other. I don't think there is any X factor to look at Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson and say, this is how you stop this guy. I mean, both of these quarterbacks are the favorites to win NFL MVP this year for good reason. And here's the thing. If I'm picking a winner in this game, it's pretty shocking that Buffalo, who is undefeated at home, who has never been an underdog on their home field in the playoffs before in their entire franchise's history, it's surprising to see Baltimore favored in this situation. But I do think that Vegas's line is warranted. I am leaning towards the Ravens in this matchup. And the reason is because of their defensive turnaround. I know if you look at the Ravens season as a whole, you would have never described them as some kind of defensive juggernaut. But since week 11, they've ranked number 1 in scoring defense, number 1 in total defense, number 1 in third down defense as well. They're playing their best ball down the stretch. And, I mean, we can talk about it. They want to erase that negative narrative about them and Lamar Jackson failing in the postseason. I think he's 3-4. Forget his record in the playoffs. But Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are super motivated, not just to make the AFC Championship game, but make the Super Bowl as well. So give me the road favorites in Buffalo.
Yeah, I'd like to see the the old Steve Young, get the monkey off my back, video clip. You kind of want that for Lamar because you're like, man, the guy's almost been there and just keeps falling short. It's like, man, is this his time? Is this his year?
Yeah. I don't feel like it's Lamar's year. I think this is where the season ends for Lamar. I think Buffalo, and this is all part of my Texans plan, okay? But Buffalo, in my opinion, is an easier team to beat for the Texans than the Baltimore Ravens are. So with that, I'm hoping that the Bills win. Realistically, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are a running game 1-2 punch we haven't seen probably since the fucking 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
Like there's not much you can actually do to stop this team. Their offense is so impeccable that really the only way you have a hope of stopping the Ravens offense is if Derrick Henry gets hurt. And I don't want that to happen.
No.
I mean, as long as I've seen him here in Tennessee tearing up my Texans, I do want to see him like get a ring and
Yeah.
become, one of those upper echelon running backs that we've always kind of thought he was.
Because that might be the one thing that holds him back is not ever winning a ring, which sucks because we've never seen since, gosh, who was the last big power back? I guess Bettis, but not really because he didn't have the speed that Henry does.
Yeah.
Maybe
No, Henry's a
Bo,
freak.
do I dare say Bo Jackson? As far as
Bo
power
Jackson,
speed?
Bo Jackson wasn't a power back though.
That dude was built like a brick
Well,
shithouse.
He definitely was built like a brick shithouse, but Derrick Henry's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is a tight end who is really fast. Like Derrick Henry is Tim Tebow with 4.5 speed. Like he's huge.
Yeah.
But he's what 6'3", 255 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Him and Tim Tebow actually throw a similar.
He's
football.
Blake Bortles with a 4.4. Like he just he's huge.
Yeah,
Big Ben with a do-rag, dare I say.
Yeah.
He is fast, man. But no, I mean, I don't think that anything's going to hold Derrick Henry back from the Hall at this point. If he plays another season or two, whether he wins a Super Bowl or not, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, if not second.
Because when you think about players that define their era, Derrick Henry, like you think, okay, who's the baddest running back in your era? Derrick Henry. Nobody wants to tackle that dude. Pro linebackers don't even want to tackle that dude. So, I'm with you, Curtis. Like, I'd like to see him get that ring, even though same way with Colts, like he ran all over us. But
but I do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game 38-35, and that's my hopes and my dreams on this game. Okay, I also think this is going to be one of the most entertaining playoff games we'll get to see since Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes played and changed the overtime rules. So let's go to the other Sunday game here. Los Angeles Rams, Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored by 6.5 points, 43.5 point over under. How are we feeling about that one? Because I kind of feel like the Rams have a chance in this to really upset this.
I'll go last, I guess.
Oh, okay. Just volunteer.
Okay, I'll go first. This is the one game this weekend that I don't have a great read on. The weather is expected to be bad, but it's in Philly. But the Eagles looked incredibly rusty offensively against the Packers last week. Meanwhile, the Rams, their defense is playing out of their absolute minds. I love this young defensive front and what they've been capable of over the past couple of weeks. In fact, I found this crazy stat I put on Twitter. The Rams defensive starters haven't allowed 10 points in 4 straight games now. And I think they've won 5 straight games on the road as well. So Matthew Stafford, of course, is going to have to take care of the football against one of the most efficient defenses in the NFL. But if Jalen Hurts looks like he did last week against Green Bay, and A.J. Brown is catching one pass while reading Chicken Soup for the Soul literature on the sideline, it's really going to give the Rams a shot at winning this. So, looking at from a spread perspective, some of these numbers are pretty big. Like 6 points isn't inconsequential, right? So I think I'm taking the points with the Rams. I have the Eagles winning this game, but give me Philly by a field goal.
Okay. Isaiah?
I mean, I think I'm taking Philly on this one. I do like the Rams' defensive front. I think that they haven't faced an offensive line like Philly's in this scenario. I mean, you got to think they've got Mekhi Becton in there at guard right now. I mean, he's probably the biggest guard in the NFL. No wonder Jalen Hurts is having some trouble throwing the ball, seeing behind that massive O-line. I mean, they lost Jason Kelsey and immediately got another guy on an extension that's really good. I think they've got a great O-line, and I think Saquon's going to bounce back, especially in a run-heavy game with the weather not looking great. Jalen Hurts, I've never been a huge fan of him. I don't think he's as good as anybody wants to believe he is, that still is trying to defend him and say he's a great quarterback. I just think he works for their scheme, and he can squat 500 pounds. So he's the perfect for the tush push, the brotherly shove, the whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, the Rams offense for me just doesn't, something about it just doesn't do it for me. couple of years ago, Matt Stafford, who awesome. But like I don't know, man. Like Puka and oh geez, what's the guy's name? The other guy,
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup. That's the one. Like they're a great combo, but neither of them have the explosiveness needed to beat that Philly secondary, in my opinion. Cooper DeJean's been playing lights out, especially down the second half. Quinyon Mitchell has also played really well. They still have Darius
Slay.
That's the one. Jeez, you guys are great. They still they still have a great one. I mean, Blankenship back there in their secondary. They've got some good players, and then Zach Bond has really broke out this season in the middle of the field. I mean, what a crazy time to break out. I mean, he's 28 years old. He's been in the league for 5 or 6 years. And they took time to put it into him and develop him. They've got some really athletic linebackers in Nakobe Dean. Quay Walker's with the Packers. The other one from Georgia, Nolan Smith. The defensive line. I mean, they've got just as big and nasty of a defensive line as the Rams do. They're just not quite as athletic, in my opinion. There's no Jared Verse on their side, but they've got a couple Braden Fisks. So I don't know. I see the Eagles taking this one by at least 2 touchdowns. I think the Rams' little run is going to come to an end, and I think their defense is going to have a tough time with this big offensive line for the Eagles. Now, would I put money on that? Probably not. I'm just feeling it for some reason. But that's what I got. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like we're all kind of thinking the same thing, but I don't really have the Eagles like keeping it close. I think the Eagles are going to run away with it. I mean, I'm not saying it's on the arm of Jalen Hurts, but I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Saquon, but I do see a lot of short routes with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I mean, just having all those weapons right there, it's hard for any quarterback to fail. I mean, you can put anybody, but Tim Tebow on this thing, and they're going to do good, man. I think the Eagles are going to run away with it, 31-17. The Rams, yes, they are playing good defense, but this Eagles offense is no joke, man. I mean, these guys got weapons everywhere. Not only, they got a good tight end who's often healthy in Dallas. I mean, often hurt in Dallas Goedert, but Grant Calcaterra has been stepping up in a major way for them. I just think the Eagles are just going to be way too much for the Rams. The Rams haven't been great all year. I think this is just their defense is just now, like we said, just now starting to wake up. But I don't think it's going to be enough to overcome the Eagles, and they're just going to just overwhelm them all game. But I got 31-17 Eagles.
Okay. I think the Rams have the makings to make this game really competitive. I think this game, this is a Rams team that beat the Bills in the regular season in a shootout and then proceeded to just barely win the next 3 games. Yeah. Collectively putting up a total of 30 points in 3 games or something. They're not necessarily scrappy by any means, but they do just enough to get the job done, at least those last few games. I think they have the potential to upset the Eagles here. I have this as a close game. I'm going to go Philly. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go Philly 35-34. Somebody misses an extra point,
wow.
Some field goals or whatever. But
a crucial moment, yeah.
Yeah, some sort of crucial kick.
And my assessment with the Rams getting beat like that badly is not because of the Rams offense. I like all the aspects that the Rams have. I mean, Kyron Williams is good. He's not a world beater, right? He's not a Saquon Barkley, but he's good. He's very, very serviceable running back. Matt Stafford has been in those big situations. He knows he's an above average quarterback. So he's not going to make bad decisions, especially with guys like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. He's not gonna mess that up. So I think it's just more of the pro for the Eagles than it is a slight for the Rams. I just want to be clear about that.
I got you. All right. Well, let's go to the Saturday evening game. A lot of people are watching presumed Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels taking on the Detroit Lions in a 55.5 point over-under. and the Lions are favored by 9.5. Now that line's probably moved. I put these numbers down a couple days ago, but
No,
that's
it's the
kind of
same
a
by
large
ESPN
spread.
bet. Yeah.
That's kind of a large spread for the playoffs. Now the Commanders' defense is absolutely atrocious, but I mean, come on, like Jaden Daniels has been playing some pretty damn good football.
Oh yeah.
But this is the Lions team that has been the best team in football from the opening kickoff of the season. They've had their little bumps and bruises here and there, and a lot of people have gotten hurt, but that doesn't really seem to have affected them all that much. They kind of bring in new guys, and those guys step up and play damn well. And if you're not sure about that, well, to just watch Week 18 against the Vikings. I've got the Detroit Lions winning this game. I'm going to have it. Let's go 31-27. Having the Commanders cover.
I like that. My whole family's from DC, so nothing would make me happier to see the Commanders Redskins football team win this game in Detroit. I would love that. But I think it really comes down to is Jaden Daniels capable of outscoring Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery's coming back. They have a great offensive line. I have a hard time just imagining Washington can do that. Jaden Daniels, one of the best rookie campaigns for any quarterback all time. I love what this franchise has been able to do. People laughed at them for their offseason moves. Why would they go get Jeremy Chin and Bobby Wagner and all these guys? They all were really key contributors this season. Dan Quinn did a fantastic job. But like you mentioned, the Detroit Lions, they were my preseason Super Bowl pick. I don't have them losing this game. I think it's possible that Washington could absolutely have some kind of situation with a backdoor cover, but the Lions are winning this game, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. So my dad and my brother are huge Redskins fans. I'm going to say it because you said it. I mean, they're always going to be the Redskins. I'm sorry. But Jaden Daniels, phenomenal. God, we can't disregard anything that he's done or anything he can do. The thing is not only is he the starting quarterback for Washington, he's also the lead rusher for Washington. So I think he's gonna have to change his game up a little bit for this one. Dan Campbell's not a dummy. Aaron Glenn is not a dummy. They're gonna understand how to play against Jaden Daniels. That's not something easy to say because Jaden Daniels is doing something we haven't seen since Lamar. Now is he a little skinny to be doing all he's doing? Yeah, okay. Go ask RG3 how that worked out for him. But I don't think that Washington's going to be able to be as diverse as there need to be. Now I will be rooting for Washington. Let's not get that twisted by any means. But I don't think that their offense is going to be as diverse as they need to be. I don't believe in Dan Quinn. I don't think he's a great offensive mind. I think Jaden Daniels is the reason that they are in the position they're in right now. And I'm going to die on that hill. But the Lions, God dang it, the Lions are they're the best team in football right now. I mean, you can't. I don't know. You just can't look beside anything that they're doing. There's every position they can beat you in. Every position. You said that like their defense is atrocious. Yeah, the defense ain't great. Let's not be off about that. But I don't know. I want to root for Washington so bad. I got the Lions picked to win Super Bowl, but damn it, go Washington. But they're gonna lose. I got the score. I got Lions 35, Washington 27. HTTR, baby.
One thing I want to say quickly, too, is there a path to victory? Absolutely. Jared Goff could turn into a pumpkin in big moments like he has.
Yeah.
But also, not to get too analytical, but Detroit's defense is still a question mark to me. Like, remember, they returned Alex Anzalone, that important linebacker, for the Week 18 finale against the Vikings, and they didn't allow a single touchdown. And Anzalone stood on his head for that entire matchup. But Detroit also was the worst defense in NFL history when it came to yards per play in the month of December. So are we expecting them to have a performance like they did against Minnesota on a big stage at home against Washington, or are they going to give up a ton of chunk plays, which would, again, provide that avenue for Jaden Daniels to keep up on the scoreboard, especially if Jared Goff is not playing up to his ability, if you will. So I think Detroit's defense is absolutely the storyline in this game, something you have to look at, because even if they win this game, there might be a narrative entering conference championship weekend that, hey, I don't think this Lions defense can do enough for them to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, they're going to be in a controlled environment. They're going to be in Ford Field, so there's not going to be any excuses why Jaden Daniels and the Washington offense shouldn't have all the opportunity. They're not going to be in the snow. They're not going to be in the rain. They're not going to have all that stuff like that. But they just got to figure it out. They've got to just do stuff that they've never done before, because no one expects them to win this game.
Yeah.
Where's Gene Hackman at? There is no tomorrow for you people.
If Houston loses, I'm still going to pull for the Lions because they've never won anything. It would be good to see a new champion. I'm tired of seeing the damn Chiefs win everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Isaiah, how are you feeling?
Well, since we're all bringing it up, my dad and my brother couldn't give a fuck less about football. I as much as I like Jaden Daniels and the Dan Quinn and all them down there, I don't see a snowball's chance in hell for them to win this game. Now, is there absolutely a chance? There's always a chance that Jared Goff goes out there and Goffs it up. But I mean, it's I don't know. That team is too good on offense, on even the defense with them being questionable. I don't know, man. Washington, it just scares me. I mean, Jaden Daniels is athletic and he just doesn't protect himself as well as I'd like to see him to at times. And Detroit's got a couple of guys, Brian Branch, some of these dudes that'll come in there and clean your clock and make sure it stays clean. So it's going to be a tough one. I mean, if they were healthy, Aiden Hutchinson, all these guys, if they had their whole defense healthy, I mean, there's absolutely zero chance I'm giving Washington anything in this game. But with the injuries, there is a chance that Jaden Daniels and them could shoot out the Lions. I don't think that there's going to be too close of a game. I think the Lions offense is going to win this game for them. I think the defense is going to do just good enough. But I don't know, man. It's going to be tough for a rookie to go in there against this team and beat them, especially with guys like Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson scheming it up. I think that there's a really good chance this could be a runaway game for the Lions. This is honestly the game I probably have being the furthest apart. I mean, I can see the Lions winning this game and putting on a show like they have in the past. I mean, I'm thinking like 42-21. I really do have the Lions running up the score in this one. Not because I don't think that Washington's capable. I just don't know that they'll be able to outlast Detroit in a shootout, especially not that deep down the stretch. But I think that if this is a year from now, like Jaden Daniels is in year 2 and he's got more weapons around him. Sure. I just don't think that Washington's offense is high powered enough to beat this Lions defense. Worse than the Lions offense is going to beat the Washington defense at the end of the day.
Valid. Fair points.
And outside of LaShawn Lattimore, they have a very unathletic secondary in Washington, in my opinion. I mean, some of the slowest safeties in the game play for that team. You've got guys like Jamison Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, it's going to be tough for them. Not to take back over, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let's get to the final game. Obviously, the game that affects the AFC South in any way, shape, or form. Texans at Chiefs. For those curious and like reading articles, head on over to CBS Sports. Jordan wrote an article about three things that the Texans have to do to get a win in Kansas City. Phenomenal read, very well thought out, very good. For me, as a Texans fan, I can almost smell the upset. I can feel it in my bones.
You smell upset, all right.
Well, yeah. But this is a team, the Kansas City Chiefs, that haven't played their starters since Christmas. I'm not necessarily assuming that there's going to be rust, but I think they might come out a little slow. I think Houston's got to capitalize on whatever version of rust or slowness they come out with
Yeah.
And the defense has got to pick up exactly where they left off against the Chargers and carry that over into this week. And you've got to get home with 4 pass rushers.
Yeah.
When you blitz, Mahomes exposes the blitz. It's a problem. When you get home with 4, Mahomes forgets how to football for a minute. And that's where we're going to have to find our bread and butter. And then CJ Stroud is going to have to do more of what he did last week, where the passing game wasn't opening up for him the way he wanted it to. So he took it down and ran with it, jazzed everybody up, got everybody hyped up. And all of a sudden, a couple runs, and now we're humming the ball downfield, and Nico Collins is breaking tackles. And, I read a stat earlier today that when targeting Nico Collins, was that your article? When targeting Nico Collins, he was like 120 passer rating or something. Everyone else.
I don't think so.
But regardless, we've got to find somebody to step up. We hoped that Deontay Johnson would be able to put some sort of ego aside and buy in even a little bit just for a few weeks. And that turned out not to be the case. So now we're looking at John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, and Dalton Schultz to fill in dramatically. No Cade Stover. He's on IR, torn shoulder labrum. I'm trying to think here. The only 3 questionable players for the Texans this weekend, Joe Mixon, which if he doesn't play, there's no shot in hell. Azeez Al-Shire and Robert Woods.
So you should be feeling pretty good about Joe Mixon. So he's supposed to be a full go for the game. So I wouldn't worry too much about him. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of run game. So rest your head tonight, Curtis.
Yeah.
You're good.
Robert, for the record, Chris Jones has never sacked CJ Stroud before. Just pointing that out.
How many times have they played?
This will be the second time. But Titus Howard has locked him down on 3 different occasions while he was playing guard. While Chris Jones played Titus Howard, those were the 3 lowest PFF grades of Chris Jones' entire season. So I'm not feeling too bad about Chris Jones. I'm a little bit more worried about Shaq Mason and Blake Fisher, the rookie right tackle. And I don't want Shaq Mason anywhere near the lineup, like at all. He's played like ass, and I think that Juice Scruggs at right guard has given us a lot more versatility and a lot higher of a tier of play than what Shaq brings. So, again, this is the fan in me, the hope and the belief. 20-17, Houston.
You got a fan in me. Hey, you got a fan. Well, hold on. 2 words. Playoff Kelsey.
Yeah.
No, like he had on almost identical season to last year this year in the regular season, but then he continues to be very consistent in the playoffs. I don't know. People are trying to say Kelsey's fallen off, but they tried to say that last year, and then he was part of the reason they won the Super Bowl again. Now, their supporting cast for Patrick Mahomes is not great, in my opinion. I don't care how many times you hear Tony Romo talk about how, I don't know, all that good stuff, and talk about how great Patrick Mahomes is. Somehow they keep winning these games. I think you're going to see a couple of trick plays from Andy Reid or something if they start getting down. But I just think that there's too much experience and just altogether goodness on this team. And I think that people underrate the Chiefs defense a little bit, including myself. I don't know. I've got the Chiefs winning probably, like 24-14, 24-7. Now I got the 24-17. I think Fairbairn will knock one in if y'all get the chance. But I don't know. I just don't see this being a super high scoring game for either side. But I think that I think the Chiefs are going to edge this one out with the experience and just with their overall stuff on there. I don't know, man. Stroud just hasn't been the same Stroud. Now, there's absolutely a possibility CJ Stroud comes out there, the offense comes out firing on all cylinders, Mixon's running the ball well, and Stroud absolutely dominates and lights it up like we've seen him do it in the past. And I know he's capable of it, as much as I like to dog on him and say that, he's dropped off this year. I mean, everybody gets film on people and they start having different years, and Slowick has not done him any favors. I think that's really what it's going to come down to in this one, honestly, is going to be the coaching. Will Bobby Slowick be able to outcoach Spags? I don't know. But I think that, Andy Reid is going to Andy Reid. It's going to be up to Slowick to actually outcall the other side. And I just don't see that happening with how the season's gone this year. I think they've skated by a lot of teams this year, just from the outside looking in. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched as many games this year as I normally do. But I think they've skated by a lot of teams in a lot of one-score games. I think the Chiefs, they just in the playoffs, they always come out firing on all cylinders. I think this is going to be a win for them in this one, in my opinion.
I just feel like at the end. Sorry, Jordan, you can keep going.
Sorry, my final score projection is actually really similar. I have the Chiefs winning 23-17. So the most important thing there is the Texans covering the spread. Sitting at 8.5 points, that is absolutely wild to me. Anytime you've made the Chiefs a favorite of at least 6 points this season, they're 0-6-1 against the spread. They've never covered the spread this entire season when you give them a touchdown. And that's why I'm confused too. Everyone's like, oh, the Chiefs, they rack up yards and points every single game. No, they don't. This season has not been like that at all. They get off to slow starts. They're more efficient offensively. They win on third downs. They control time of possession. They're not scoring 40 points a game. So that's why I think betting on Houston to cover 8.5 is actually a really good bet this week. I think the market is overvaluing the Chiefs, especially as you mentioned, they haven't taken the field with their starters since Christmas, right? The last time they played in front of their home fans, I think, was against the Houston Texans. So the one thing that you brought up the article that I did for CBSSports.com, the one thing that we need to talk about when it comes to potentially defeating the Chiefs is limiting Patrick Mahomes' legs. His scrambling is totally an X factor in the playoffs. I literally went back and looked at the numbers. His best rushing performance of his entire NFL career came in the postseason. I went to his game-winning drive in overtime in the Super Bowl against the 49ers last year. Sure enough, he had a scramble on a third down to pick up a first down and a scramble on a fourth down to pick up a first down as well. The numbers prove it as well. He rushes more times a game and for more yards per game in the postseason compared to the regular season. You can go back to any number of games and see how he was able to turn the tide with a long scramble. So Curtis brought it up in terms of rushing for. I think that's true, but contain can happen in a lot of different ways, even off of a blitz as well. Containing Patrick Mahomes, winning on third down, winning the turnover battle, that is the formula for a Texans upset.
Yeah.
Now here comes the conspiracy theorist in me. So I wanted to give my serious answer first, and I'm glad you bring up the rushing. Patrick Mahomes' ankle is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, or foot, or whatever they said was wrong with him.
No.
The conspiracy theorist in me, Patrick, good Lord, Curtis. I've said this many times on the show before. When does the NFL make the most money?
Well, it's during the playoffs, I would assume.
But in particular, what player do they allow to get more time than any other player?
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. So that conspiracy theory is coming out. I've said this so many times. The NFL makes more money when guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen have more time to throw, bigger plays, more running, all that good stuff. I think that there's going to be at least one or two calls in this game where people are like, hey, that dude's jersey's coming off of his body. Will Anderson's going to be picking parts of his jersey up off the floor, and they're going to be like, I didn't see anything. Touchdown, Patrick Mahomes. I think there's going to be some angry fans after this game if the Chiefs win, because when it comes to crunch time, and we saw this versus the San Francisco 49ers, and I think there's a good chance the Texans will get up like 14-0 or 14-7 or 17-7 very early. And then the Chiefs are going to come back and win it at the end, because that's just what the Chiefs do every single time they make the playoffs. Conspiracy theory, there's going to be some holding calls that are not called. They're going to be held. The flag's going to be grabbed but not thrown. Patrick Mahomes is going to do just enough. Kelsey's going to do just enough, and they're going to win with very little time left in the game. And that's why I have them going up by that final bit there. But yeah, conspiracy theory back in the pocket. I just had to get that out so that whenever it happens on Sunday, everyone's going to be like, wow, Isaiah, you really had a point there.
Yep.
Listen, I called it. I said Malik Willis was going to have a great game. He did. I said that, I said that what's his name was going to have a great game. He did. I'm just saying, sometimes I pull these things out and just saying. All right, I'm done.
I don't think people are going to disagree with you on that. We all know that Mahomes is getting that Brady rub. The same concept. Mahomes is the face of the league, which, I mean, that's why he's always going to get the benefit of the doubt. Just like when Brady was like, hey, that guy was holding me, or that guy was doing something or whatever. They're like, okay, cool, and then flip the flag, right? You're right though. I mean, it's a money market. It's a business. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is what's best for business. I hate the fact that that's the way it is, but if the Texans win, which I'm hoping they do, it's going to be by a very, very slim margin. I mean, we may be talking about 1 point, 2 points, something like that, very slim. And of course, Chiefs fans are going to be all pissy or whatever like that, but I don't care. I'm hoping that the Texans get all their eggs and all their ducks in a row, and they figure out what's going on offense, and CJ Stroud gets over whatever he's been doing this year. We don't like it. I think the Texans are going to pull it off by 1 point, one measly little point. I got the Texans going over the Chiefs 20-19. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think mistakes are going to be made on both sides.
I just need Rex Ryan to say that the Chiefs have a bye week. That's if that can happen again, I need that kind of fuel for the Texans. That's what I need.
Oh, such disrespect.
Well, you see, Jim, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody gets a no call like Patrick Mahomes. Nobody can have their linemen grab jerseys like Patrick Mahomes. All right, I'm done.
It's like John Madden's crush he had on Brett Favre all them years.
Oh yeah,
everything just
I'm sorry,
like you said, different game or whatever, just comes right around to Brett Favre somehow. John Madden had a man crush on Brett Favre.
Yep, sorry, I can't do John Madden. I wish I could.
No, we'll need to get Frank Caliendo on here for that.
It's a little above our pay grade, but we'll see what we can do.
I don't know. Maybe not now. I mean, he hasn't been a thing in a while, so.
I mean, I don't know.
We don't have enough followers
we'll
for that.
Revive his career.
Still above our pay grade.
That's all you in the chat. Like, spread the word. Come on, let's get Frank Caliendo on here.
All right. I mean, that covers the weekend slate, gentlemen. Do we have any other comments about the games? Anything else at all?
I hope Travis Kelce twists his ankle.
Whoa.
I didn't say break his ankle. I said twist it.
Whoa. A sprain is a lot more effective, good sir.
I just want to see Taylor Swift cry.
You're going to see her cry $1 billion.
Oh, yes.
Wipe her tears with $1,000 bills.
Vote BTJ, Rookie of the Year. He's not going to win it, but we can still vote for him.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm voting Jaden Daniels. I'm not even going to front with you about that.
Yeah. Well, all right, gentlemen, I think this is a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your evenings and personal lives to come on and talk AFC South and playoff football with me. Jordan, especially thank you for, you're a busy man. You've got a bunch of stuff that's always pulling you in 1,000 different directions. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Let the people know where they can find more about you.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always fun talking ball with you guys. Really appreciate it. Just check me out on cbssports.com. Last name is spelled Dajani. Might have some pretty cool interviews coming up in the next few weeks. So definitely check me out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Hey, Jordan, real quick. So I'm not very familiar with your work. Sadly enough, I don't use CBS that often. But what kind of stuff are you doing this offseason? Are you covering any of the free agency stuff, the rookie stuff, draft stuff? What kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely be all over it. That's when we got to get our most creative, right? So we'll do best fits per position for each team in each conference, looking at the available names. I even come out with a mock draft leading up to April. We do a lot of different stuff as well. So we're putting out columns on how to fix teams that were close to making the Super Bowl but weren't able to get there. And I also do a lot of one-on-one interviews with some players too in the off season. So that's always really fun.
All right, interesting. I'll be looking forward to that, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Head on over to Kingmaker_DFF across all the social medias. Like, subscribe, notification bell. If you're looking for fantasy output, head on over to Third and Teal. You can catch more of Isaiah and the other guys on Third and Teal talking all things Duval. Head on over to that Real Texas Team podcast for everything Texans related, Unstabled for our Colts coverage, and Titans takeaways for everything Titans. Gentlemen, thank you again. Folks, thank you all for watching, and be good people. Fuck the Chiefs.
Yeah.